Hello there guys and welcome to another episode of Second Life Electronics. As you saw last week, we recently got a new coffee machine that was broken, and the editor has decided that would be the next thing that we're going to fix, because who doesn't love a nice fresh cup of coffee? So, as it's a water-filled item, I'm not going to be doing that on the workbench here today. Instead, we're going to go to the family kitchen. So let's go there now. Okay then guys, so we've put some water into the tank at the back, as you can see. And we've got some water. We've got it plugged in. First things first, let's turn the... Alright, so we've got a red flashing light on the top of the machine. So that's bringing cold water out. Which is absolutely filthy water. But we're definitely getting no hot water out. Okay, so let's get it to the workbench and see if we can find out what's wrong with it. Okay, right, we're not going to be at the workbench today because obviously it's had water in it, and I don't want to get all of my electronics covered in water. So what I've done is I've removed the water tank, and I found that there is two T20 screws. That's the only visible screws I can see at the moment. So we're going to take those out and see if that will let us get into the machine. Oh, that's those two screws out. It seems to be separating off a lot of the case. There doesn't seem to be any other screws that I can see. There's a little spring here, just sat inside there. I have no idea if that... Okay, this has definitely been fiddled with before, because it is there's broken plastic in it, although that could again be from the shocking packaging, or lack of packaging, should we say. Let's see if we can... Do we separate the stand off, or what do we do here? Can't see anything else. But there's definitely something else holding some of this in. There's a lot of dirt all the way around the machine. It's really not been well looked after at all. Right, so look at this. It's definitely not going to separate the two halves of the base. Let's see if we can Get a pick in there. One of these. No, it definitely looks like there's a few clips that are holding the base in. So I might need to sort of pry those. Out as we push that up, maybe. Can we use these for a bit of pushing power? We definitely need to try and separate that. I don't see any screws in there. I think it is literally just the base in there. This definitely does not want to separate easily. Okay. I'm going to do a bit of research, see if I can find out how this opens. Okay, so definitely from a quick bit of research there, definitely does look like I was right in thinking that I do need to remove those tabs on the bottom, just how we get into the machine. So we're going to pull out some big gun toys. So we're going to need to prise that down, and then at the same time we need to come in underneath that lip. I think I might need a sort of thinner screwdriver than that one. See if this one will do. Might just do the job. Yeah, definitely looks like it's going to try and fight me. Oh, there might be another blade. Okay, they clip in really well. Well, that one doesn't. He might have broke that one. Looks like there's been glue on put on some of these clips, which is not helping matters. I think this is probably someone trying to open it before. Which is probably why the seller's been so keen to let it go off cheap afterwards. He knows that it's no good. But well, what's left holding this in now? It's just that cable clip. So what's that? Some sort of clip mechanism in around there. There's a cable here that's actually not connected. Alright. That seems to be stuck in there. Let's just see if there's anything else I'm missing. So unfortunately, the only video I've found for disassembling this, he skips the only part that I actually needed, which is knowing how to get this side bit off. So, really wasn't very useful. Ah, there we go. There's some rather tight clips on that, holding that in. It'll require a little bit of brute force to encourage them off. But now we can actually get into the mainstay of the machine. And now we can have a look at that. Yes, there's definitely a cable you can see there. It's not actually, I don't know if that come off whilst I was trying to take the bottom off, or if that was already off. Now it's designed to plug in down the bottom there, so let's see if we can get my great big bare hands in there. Right, that plug back on. So let's see what we got here. That was actually alive. Going down onto this little boiler. So we've got a hold, we've got a switch. So this is actually the wire for our thermistor. Doesn't look like there's too much to it. So let's give it some power. And then we're going to get our multimeter. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at that. That thermistor. Let's see if we can get the probes in there. Are they? So the thermistor we do have a reading on. Now I think at the moment it's going to be complaining of the fact it's got no water. Let's get some water in. So we're going to have to be very careful now because we're going to be having water around live electrics. The red light is still flashing away. I don't think we're going to need water. Let's get some voltage readings. Let's see if we can see if voltage is reaching. Right, so we've got a live and neutral up here. And AC, let's have a look. Okay, so we're getting 230 volts in, which we know we're getting something because we've got a power light coming on onto the top. So we've got, what else have we got coming in here? So this is the water pump that draws the water up. Which we're getting about 23 volts on. Where's the live coming on here? There's the point down the bottom there. Okay, so we're getting 23 volts into that, but that's not getting, oh, that is actually getting hot down there. That is getting hot. So let's check our thermistor reading now. That is actually getting hot down there. Bath mist is sitting about 2.8 mega ohms. That is definitely getting hot. We're getting a reading off of that. So could it literally just be that we've got a blockage in a pipe somewhere? That definitely is getting hot. In fact, I've got to see if I can't remember what this does. Okay, we need to get something that I can read the temperature off of that when you're ready. So that is definitely getting hot. I think it's just severely fucking blocked.
If you had an accident that's not your fault, you missed last week's video, didn't you? We can fix that, don't worry. Just click subscribe and make sure you hit that bell notification and you'll get notified every week when we release a new video.
How does that know that it's got water sat in there? Could it even be dirt in this? Could it be that it's just there's a magnet on the bottom of this tray, which was absolutely filthy. I'm wondering if that maybe isn't making contact. Could that be why it's giving me that warning? I mean, it'd definitely be annoying if it was just that. I mean, I don't think this is intelligent enough to detect if there's a pod in there or not. I mean, that seems to be all it's doing is just flashing that red light there still. But I mean, it's not. And let's try giving it a bit of water in the tank. Don't want to give it too much. I mean, it's not responding to. Okay, so it's not Doesn't respond either way with that. But in the back there was this. Where would that have sat? Okay, let's. Try and get that side. Because there was this. Where have I put it now? There was a metal ring. Yeah, there. I don't know what that pin's for. Maybe that pin was just for cleaning a nozzle out or something. There was a little nozzle up inside there. Let me take this guy out. Maybe that's what that's for. It actually feels blocked. That doesn't feel like it's going in there at all. Okay, so put the water tank in. Oh, it's gone green. I think it was just that plug wasn't plugged back in. You probably might, because it's got broken clips and that on it, other than the ones that I broke. I think it's been dropped. And that's, I mean, I certainly wouldn't drink this. Actually, let's give you a little view. I definitely wouldn't drink that. I mean, that's just hot water that's come out of this machine, so it's going to need a thorough rinse out. But I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it very clearly. But that is smoke coming off of that. That is hot. We've just done the tank now, but that second cup is actually clear. So I think we've actually managed to get this coffee machine working again. All I've got to do now is put those screws back in. We'll get a coffee pod and we'll give it a try. Okay, so thanks to the magic of the video world. For you, it's just been a couple of seconds, but for us, it's a whole new day has passed, and we now have some Dolce Gusto coffee pods, which means we are able to do a thorough test. And what better way to test it than making a coffee? It should hopefully go green. There we go, it's gone green. I shall put the milk pod in first. And that's lovely hot milk coming out now. Oh, I don't think this one stops automatically. I thought it was going to be one of the ones that was going to stop automatically. We've got a cup full of milk, hot milk. I think this is one of the smart ones. It looks like it's going to keep going again and again. Let's put that to the side. Let's get the coffee. And there we go. That's a hot cup of coffee. So in the end, it turns out that all it needed was just that cable plugged back in, Unfortunately broke a few clips on the way, but hey ho, we've now given that Dolce Gusto machine a second life. Join us next time. Bye for now.